Hey everyone, it is Tuesday, May 19th, and we are going to do some more drabbles today. Let's see. Let me refresh everything. Okay. Oh, I need to get all my stuff set up. Drabble Club. Our prompts today are something about a hat. Oh, there it is. A hat brim and softening your tone. So we'll see how this goes. Let's see. Close all of that. Okay. Actually set up now. How's everybody doing today? I am probably going to struggle to focus some. Put that on silent, right? Yes. Okay, good. No, I am like, I'd have to do the math to know exactly how far through reading my draft I am, but like 2/3 of the way through. Not quite to the. I'm not quite to the third plot point, but it will be soon. So, yeah, I am. I've only been reading it for a couple days. It's over 100,000 words, but why does it not take that long to read? I don't know. It feels like it should take longer than it does. But then I get to start working on the next draft, and I'm really excited about that. So, a hat brim and softening your tone. This could be anything. These are so vague. I guess, like, I did that on purpose. But still. Let's actually put these up on the screen. Yeah, I don't know. That's like, I don't know how much brainstorming will help with this because they're so vague. I I appreciate that they can go in any direction, but these ones are maybe a little too vague. Vague isn't the right word. To open ended would probably be better because they're very specific. They're not vague. They're just not really giving me any direction to go in. Welcome, Nina. Nina says, hello everyone. I will be a lurker for the first part of the stream. Just got home from work and I have to go buy cat food before the store closes. Well, that's important because the cats will make sure you know that they need food. Mine do. Two-Face wakes us up at like 5 a.m. for food because she's the worst. And, yup. But yeah, get your cat food, do what you need to do. And then hopefully you can get in some writing after. Yeah, okay. I don't know what to do for this. What kind of hat, Brim? What kind of hat? I try to like show my brainstorming how I think about these prompts in these streams, but frankly, half the time I'm not really thinking. Something just like bursts out, and sometimes it's good, and usually it's mediocre, because that's how most writing goes. But yeah. What kind of hat? What kind of hat? Do our post sprinting brainstorm. Okay, if someone is softening their tone, then they're probably talking to at least one other person or an animal or something. Oh my gosh. Okay, Nina says she screams at me a lot. Unfortunately, the only place that has the food she can eat around me closes in 20 minutes. Luckily, it's right by my apartment. Well, thank goodness for that. Yeah, it's hard when they have very specific food needs. But yeah, right by your apartment. That's really good. That's nice. Now we're going to Google types of hats. Just like there's a image that has a whole bunch of options. I don't need a timeline of when hats were created. But that's interesting. The flat cap is from the 1570s. There's really a hat called a pork pie. That feels weird. Nina says, I will definitely think about what hat I will make it while I shop. Good idea. So we've got flat cap, top hat, fedora, cowboy hat, Panama. Oh, I like those hats. Those are like adventure hats. That makes me want to like could definitely go in my whatever I'm calling this whip, my Lara Croft inspired archaeology fantasy thing. I could definitely go in that direction. That's always fun. A pork pie, a boater, a bowler, baseball cap, beanie, and this is like these are also just all men's hats. Um, a cloche, that's an option. That's showing up as a very different type of hat than what I would imagine, but that's probably just a me problem. I guess it is generally the shape of, like a cloche that's used in a kitchen, where it has to be that shape to cover the food. A balaclava, ooh, a garden hat, that would be fun. I love gardening. A visor, a floppy hat. I feel like there has to be a more um, specific name for what that is. A floppy hat could be literally any hat that's floppy. I would probably call it like a sun hat. What this picture is showing, at least. A bucket hat. That picture is not a bucket hat, but a bucket hat is a thing. Ooh, a beret. Berets don't really have much of a brim, though. Yeah. A derby hat, that's another option. There's so many hats. I love a beret. And yeah, we're not even getting into like um, things like turbans or fezzes. And part of that is they don't, neither of those really have brims. So that doesn't work. A sombrero. Oh, a Homburg. Trilby. I forgot trilby was a type of hat. That's such a weird word. It feels like a name. Why does it? This is probably making me think of something specific, and I just can't place it. Let's see, a trapper hat. That's another one, or like a snow hat. Those are other ones that don't really have brims. Okay, there's so many hats. And at this point, I don't know how helpful looking at hat types are. Just a straw hat. That's another one. A conical hat. Um, oh, like a helmet is another option, like a riding helmet, or some type of like military hat. Um, or a safari hat. That sounds fun. That's more like 1800s vibes of like I want to work on those kind of things. Or like the hats, the women's hats with the veils, like oh, that's like what 50s or something. I'm like the little tiny ones. Oh, with a birdcage veil. That is that the name for that part of it. Those hats are so cute. Okay, 1920s. I don't know where I got 50s from. That was very wrong. As soon as I said it, I was like, that's not right. But yeah, like 20s, like flapper style. There's so many hat options. Ah, it's fine. This is fine. This did not help me narrow anything down at all, and that's okay. And the problem is like a hat broom is very specific but open, and softening your tone is like that doesn't give me any location or like it doesn't ground anything. I need something to ground these prompts to give me like a legitimate jumping off point. Um, let's see. I will look at my story ideas to see if there's anything that like sparks something there. I have lots of stories where people would wear hats because they're like in 1800s times where a lot of people were wearing hats. Not that many people wear hats anymore, I feel like. Maybe that's a me problem though. I want to be a hat person, but I'm just not. And it's fine. it just always feels so formal, and nothing I do is formal. So that's the part that stands out to me. I think the most I ever do is like I'll wear a winter hat or a sun hat, but those are very specific circumstances. And maybe that's a good indication though, if those like are putting me in very specific circumstances. Obviously, winter hat doesn't really have a brim, so that doesn't work. But if we go like sun hat, that is very specific scenario where I would generally use something like that. Or you could do like garden hat, and then it would be like specific to that. Um, I guess what I really need to think about is like, okay, if these specific hats are in that sort of situation, which of those situations is standing out as something interesting? I love a good floppy sun hat, like the wicker or straw hat. Not wicker. Probably can have a wicker hat, but that feels weird. No. They're cute. Wicker hats are cute. Anyway. So, what sort of situation that these hats would put me in is something that sounds fun. Where was that one that had the times? So, like, I have several stories that are Victorian time period. So that's like fedoras, cowboy hats, Panama hats, top hats. Those are all around in that general time period, depending on when exactly it is. Panama is a little bit later. That's after the 1900s, which Victorian times, like Queen Victoria died in what, 1907? So that's, right at the tail end. 1901. I guess 1 and 7 look similar. That's all I got for why I misremembered that. So Victorian times ended like basically right at 1900. 1890s is generally when I like, that's my general preference for Victorian time period, even though it spans a wider range. Um, but yeah, my Lara Croft archaeology, dark academia, whatever that story is probably more like 1910s, 1920s, than actually Victorian. It's just like that general like 1890s to 1920s is probably one of my favorite time periods. They're one of the times I find most interesting to write in. But that doesn't mean that what I work on today will have anything to do with that. But it could. I haven't written anything on the Lara Croft story in a while. I really need a better name for that. The problem is my working title for it is How to Pass the Bechdel Test when you're the only living woman in the book. So that's not any shorter. That is, in fact, longer than all of the descriptors I have for it. Ah. But I definitely could do something in that storyline. I would probably want to pull up all of the little tidbits I have written in that story to better figure out like where what I write would fit. It's been a while. I don't think I've worked on it since like February because I wrote quite a few drabbles that were in that story. And not really anything since then. Let's look at this. Popular hats in the 90s. Bucket hats. Yes, I am aware. Bucket hats. Yeah, bucket hats and baseball caps. Baseball caps were so big in the 90s. And trucker hats that are almost exact like trucker hats are almost exactly the same thing as baseball hats. Just saying. They're just like bigger and have the ventilation or a different ventilation type. Collegiate hats. Those are baseball caps with college logos on them. Berets. Yeah, I've got like in Clueless and stuff like that. That makes sense. Breton hats. Wide brim hats. A lot of Princess Diana, like the huge hats. Hats from 90s haute couture shows. That's a weird witch's hat with a bunch of tulle. That's funny. God, why is most of couture fashion so ugly? I know the thing is like be as weird as possible. I don't know. It's bad. But yeah, a lot of baseball caps and a lot of um, bucket hats. That's the word. I just blanked for a second there. So that's something to consider. I definitely have a couple stories set in the 90s. Um, yeah, maybe I could go in that direction. It would totally make sense for one of these characters to be wearing a bucket hat, or multiple of them, frankly. The story idea I'm looking at is a short story that I have like kind of worked on. I have like around 1,000 words and then a whole bunch of research for it because it's basically this idea where is set in the 90s a group of girls who like to go like urban exploring go caving searching for the lost Yoakum silver mine, which is an urban legend here in the Ozarks around the Branson area. Um, so they go and get trapped And I really want it to be set either in the 90s or like the early 2000s. For like my age, it would be early 2000s because that is I was too young to be doing anything like that in the 90s. But I don't know, it depends on what vibe I want. They're a very similar vibe, but not quite. So that is a definite possibility. One of the drabbles I wrote in February was in this story. It was, I think it was one I wrote on a stream. It was um, one talking about like the before times and the after times because there was a cave in while they're down in the cave looking for this lost mine. So that might actually be the direction that I go in. It's a story that is about like people connections. Everything I write is about people connections. Um, but like it's a group of girls, and I don't know why I'm like so thoroughly fascinated by toxic female relationships, whether it's like friendship or sapphic. Um, I mean, it's probably because it doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. Um, it's a fascinating aspect of female relationships that is not anything I ever partook in. Like I've had toxic friendships, but it wasn't. Um, I was the one on the receiving end generally in that sort of situation, not and more like unaware of what was happening than anything else until long after the fact. So I find it very interesting to look at those types of relationships. So that's definitely one of the themes in this, like the like unhealthy codependent relationship between the narrator and her best friend. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll be doing for this. So lots of options. But yeah, let's go in here and write bucket hat. And then that puts me in the position of trying to decide why someone is softening their tone. Like, is there an argument and they're trying to calm something down? Which would make sense. I think I might read over what all I have here. Oh, I don't have the drabble that I wrote in this folder, and I should. Let's go in and find that. Hey Tanya, welcome in. Tanya says, I'm here as well, but I'm staying in the background. You're keeping me company as I have to do some horrid admin. Oh, I'm sorry. Admin is very annoying. I hope it's not too bad, but yeah, that wording is not a great indication. Okay, here it is. Yeah, so there are 2 times, before and after. So let's add that drabble here to my file of all of the short tidbits I've written of this story. This is now like 800 words. I should rename this. Lost Yocum. Silver Mine. So yeah, like either late 90s or early 2000s summer. And then these girls go caving, which is very dumb. You should be a professional if you're going caving. Please. Please. Have a professional with you. Like, careful. Oh my gosh, Miley sent me. We were talking about this story the other day, and Miley sent me some stuff, some podcasts that I have to listen to that are about like people caving and like getting lost and stuff. So I need to listen to those. But yeah, so like they go in and it goes very poorly. Somebody dies, and I haven't decided who dies and like who killed them, like how they died. I have to figure that out. I just know it's bad. Oh my gosh. Tanya says, it's not too bad technically, it just never ends. It multiplies like mushrooms. That's the worst. I get around that by avoiding doing admin. I don't recommend it. It's not a great choice. Okay, and here's also the thing. I need to like I have names for some of these characters, but I'm not attached to almost any of them. Realistically, if these characters are around my age or a little bit older, then I can just think back and go, okay, one of them's probably named Ashley, one of them's probably named Sarah, and that kind of thing. You know, try to think of names that were very popular at the time because that's kind of the vibe of the story is that these are mostly like a group of more popular girls who are trying what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to do dangerous things to like I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, so there are definitely like in this group of girls, there are a few of them that are like the really popular ones who are like the mean girls, and then there are the ones that they let hang around with them. So, okay, then we get to the main other question: who is softening their tone? Is it the narrator? Is it one of the other characters? Because there are like 5 girls in this. Not all of them have distinct personalities yet at this point. I don't know. I don't know any of them well enough. So who would be doing that? Who would be like trying to ease the tension, trying to make other people feel better? I feel like generally that would probably be my main character. Because like her best friend is the main girl of the group and like very much in charge of everything and everyone adores her. And the main character probably adores her more than anyone and just goes along with whatever she says because that's what you do, even though she doesn't necessarily agree with it. So then she is complicit in whatever her friend is doing, even if it is like the opposite of what she would actually want. She chose to go along with it and doesn't try to push her friend to be nicer or a better person or anything like that. So realistically, it would probably be the main character softening their tone, but not with her best friend, with one of the other girls. That's what is making the most sense as I'm talking this out. Okay, I think I am in a place where I can actually start writing this now. I'm not sure how much more I can get out of brainstorming this. I think I just need to do it. And this is a short story that the parts that I was first writing were in first person, but I think later stuff I was putting in second person. I think I liked that more. So, probably writing this in second person. Either way, like, that's an easy change. It just changes the tone a lot. Okay, I am going to get everything set up for a sprint. And we will figure out what the heck we're going to write. Okay, I'm going to get this started. I will see you guys in 30 minutes. Good luck. I spent way too long rereading the parts of this story that I had worked on already to like get in the right headspace. And then I wrote over 200 words, and so this is too long. I've gotten it down to 184, but I don't think I can realistically get it down to 100 words without, just straight up deleting half of it. Yay, Nina got cat food. That's exciting. Okay, yes, I've gotten this down to 180. I don't think this is going to get much better. I've there's like 4 people, so they're all talking. Well, 3 of them are talking, mostly 2. Um, and there are probably some places where I could condense this more, but not a whole lot. How did sprints go for everybody? I don't think anyone is actually writing with me today, and that's fine. How did admin go, Tanya? Don't know. I don't know how many words that's saving me. Ah, Tanya ate a quick dinner. That's good. Food is good. This doesn't affect my word count at all, but let's use the word chauffeur. Actually, I think that does help. I can just get rid of that. I have it down to 157, so this is actually, this editing is going better than I anticipated. That's still, 57 words away from being exactly 100, so that just feels unlikely. Let's see. They have actually all been 100 words. Since I'm only doing it weekly right now, I have been really vigilant about staying on top of the 100 words. Like last week, I actually did two that were exactly 100 words. Actually, when is the last time it hasn't been 100 words? Like, okay, one a few weeks ago, I had a version where I liked the longer version better, so I kept both, but I did go through the process of cutting it down to exactly 100. That's 100, that one's 100. Okay. The last time I didn't cut one down to 100 words was, let me look, sometime in March, I'm pretty sure. It was the one I did on March 24th for dilated pupils and a wrong number. That one is 152. So like, yeah, if I can't get it down to that, it's fine. That's the only one that hasn't been 100 words since we switched to the weekly drabbles. So yeah, it would just, I've been really vigilant about it, like trying to keep them at exactly that word count, but I don't think this one is going to get there. I have it at 150 now, which honestly, not bad, considering it was like 216, I think, when I finished it. Yeah, honestly, I think this is as good as it's gonna get. Okay. All right. Let's read this. uh, yeah, I'm surprised with myself that I have managed to actually get most of them to 100 words. It's kind of crazy. Okay, take two. A car door slams and you glance over your shoulder. Chelsea pads down the dock, feet bare, blonde pigtails peeking from beneath neon yellow bucket hat, and Heather follows close behind, wearing an extra large tee over her one piece and platform flip flops. Madison arches over her inner tube, looking at us upside down. What took so long? Relax, Mads. Chelsea lays a hand on her hip. We had to wait for Ronnie to drive us. Ronnie Schmonnie. Her lips purse. Not everyone has a boyfriend as a chauffeur. Chad could have picked us up if it mattered that much. And go out of my way? She smirks. Chelsea glances in your direction. You hesitate. Chad didn't even want to pick me up. Your voice is quiet, begging her to understand, to not start a fight when they just arrived. Maybe next time? Madison scoffs. Don't push your luck. Now get in the fucking water, Chels. So yeah, not much of a drabble at all. Honestly, this is just part of a story. Nothing about this is like complete in any way. But that's like the general dynamic of the group, and I'm pleased with how it turned out for like the of this. But not really a drabble, and that's fine. It's fine. Okay. And yeah, we only have one more week and then it's June. I need to finish getting all of the June prompts set up. I've been working on getting them organized and hopefully should have them posted here in the next couple days. Thank you, Tanya. Yeah, I think I this is a story that I've like tried to write, but it wasn't ready yet. It was just like I didn't I don't think I had the characters. The characters were not ready yet. So this is good. This is like establishing the right vibe I want for their dynamic. And at some point, I will actually write this short story. Oops, that. Right. I need. June has 30 days. And so, yep, I need to actually get all of these organized. Oh gosh. Okay, it's almost 12:30 already. Okay, well, yeah, we spent a lot of time brainstorming at the beginning. uh, okay, I am going to go ahead and start the next sprint and see if I can finish getting all the prompts for June organized. I might be able to. Okay. All right. I will see you guys in 30. Good luck working on whatever you're working on. No, let's actually pull up the thing so we can see that. Okay. See you in 30. Welcome back, everyone. How did that go for people? Welcome, Innocent Hedgehog. Nice for you to join us. Stick this back up. I am working on our June prompts, and it's going well. Hmm. I think I have like half of the prompts figured out. Then I just have to fit the other ones around those. And this, I'll probably sub out some stuff at some point. I just want to make sure I'm getting enough like speculative fiction type of prompts in here. Or just generally that they're not all super modern. Okay, I think I only have two here that are like very specific, like two more modern stuff, and even that, like, not even necessarily. I don't know. They're probably fine. Okay, Hedgehog says 75 words, but most importantly, I have my doc open. That is so true. That's, yeah, no, that first step, that is the most important part, actually getting it open and starting to work on it. That is awesome. You're doing great. Now I just have to fit these other ones around it. Okay, I guess. I don't know. I want more fantasy coded ones. Mm. 500 a day is manageable too. That's like, depending on how fast you write, that could be half an hour, that could be an hour. That's a manageable amount of time to be able to fit in around the rest of your life. That's a good goal. I feel like when I'm really trying to hunker down and focus on like drafting, 500 a day is generally my go-to goal because it's manageable. And if I get too overzealous with my goal, it has the opposite effect. And then I don't get anything done because I just like, oh, it's too much. So don't even try. And that's not any fun. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, there have been so many days where it's like, okay, only 500 words. That's fine. That's doable. But then you spend like an hour just trying to be able to write in the first place. It's not fun. It's not fun. Most of the scene has just been how do I write sentence. That's so real. Yeah, look, sometimes it just takes time. Maybe maybe you're pushing yourself too hard, maybe the story just isn't ready, maybe a lot of things. But sometimes it just takes a while. It has been like I'm finally at a point in my main project where it is not a slog, and it was for a really long time, and like 3/4 of the way through my most recent draft is the point where it was like, wait, no, this is like actually going well, and I'm really excited about the project again and able to focus on it. And now I'm like, well, the draft is done. I'm working on starting edits, and then I'm going to start the next draft because it's like if I take too long of a break and I lose that momentum, I don't know how long it will take me to get back into the groove and able to work on it again. I don't. It's hard. Writing is so hard. Pitchoff says, at a brief spot around 40 to 50k where this draft was super fun. Then since 75k, it's been a slog all the way to the 155k I'm at now. Oh gosh. That's a long time for it to be a slug. I'm glad that my draft was only right around 100,000 words total. Almost 160. Uh, yeah, that is a lot of words to be struggling with. That's hard. When will it end? Nobody knows. Eventually, you'll get there. You will. I promise. I believe in you. At this point, my worst fear is huge exaggeration. Is that um, my my drafts will get longer than 100,000 words because that's like how will I ever finish them if they are like getting to the 120 or more. It's that's so many words. Okay, that's totally fair. Like my the draft that I'm about to start is going to get longer because my earlier drafts don't include a lot of setting description. They don't or like character description. They don't include a lot of that stuff. I just get everything out as best I can and then go in and like I have to expand stuff. Um oh my gosh, I was just reading my midpoint and I'm like all of these chapters need fleshed out so much, so much. Like this is already 104,000 words. It doesn't need to be longer. And I know I'll shorten it in the editing after the fact, but by how much, I don't know. I don't know. uh, yeah, I don't trust myself either. Okay, this is. Every single tree, describe them all. Huh. I I love that part, but it just does not come naturally in the beginning, and I have to add it in very intentionally. That I love that. That's awesome. yeah, I get so in the zone and like very much focused on the character aspect of things. And like in the rougher drafts, figuring out what the heck is actually happening in these scenes. Suspected spam caller. The amount of spam that I get on a regular basis is annoying. And then you do the screen call and they never respond. We don't talk about my plot, but at least it happens in a nice place. What do you mean? I'm confused. Um, okay. Doo-doo-doo. Let's do that. I'm going to do that one. It needs to be paired with something that is more flexible. Your plot is rough. How so? Like I don't often write plot heavy things. Even like all the speculative stuff I write is much more. It's all very character driven. So my plot's usually pretty rough. In my main project right now, my plot is character because it's literary fiction. So yeah, that's that's a lot of the issues that I wind up having. It's because I have to spend a lot of time reworking my plot to get it functioning. A functioning plot is good. Mm, that makes sense. Yeah, that's hard. That's why I have so many drafts. Because like halfway through the story decides to be something else, and then finish the draft, um, make that function well enough, and then reread it and go, okay, what are the parts that actually work? Oh, murder mystery is exciting. I love the spec fic BS, but it can definitely be difficult. Um, and I tend to be more wishy washy with it because that's I basically write everything like it's lit fic, even the speculative stuff, because that's what I really enjoy, the really deep character introspection and the um the deeper meanings to things. That's my favorite. And so like literary speculative fiction is my jam. It's the best. Did I use that one already? I feel like I used that one already. Why is it still on my list? Maybe it's not. It's not on any of my lists. Okay. Oh, that one's good. I like these setting ones. Oh, and I want more summary ones. Mm. That's fair. Like literary sci-fi action thriller sounds great to me, but also very difficult to achieve. Like that is you have to have a certain balance, and that's hard. That's really hard. Let's see. Maybe not there. Let's see. Okay, I don't have anything about a crown already. That's good. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Oh, it would be nice to have a picnic blanket being one. Because summer. Hmm. Okay. I don't need. Indeed. Let's do that. So it's a little different. Let's see. I'm getting so close to having these prompts all sorted out. We will see. Let's get rid of that one. What should I put with this? Let's fix this. Okay, these prompts might actually be sorted out now. I don't know. Do that. Are there any I want to replace? I would kind of like to use that one. I'll do that. And put that one back on my list of potentials for the future. Okay, I have my June prompts. I'm going to let those gestate and just generally, I'll probably take a look at them later tonight or tomorrow and decide if those are the ones I want, like the final version, or if I want to tweak anything. Don't mind a little bit of repetitiveness. I don't want too much. So I need to look over past prompts and double check that there isn't too much overlap in the prompts. Okay, I have gotten more done than I expected to. That's crazy. Okay, well, it is 1:30 here, so, and I got my prompts basically organized, so I'm gonna go ahead and head out for the day. I have more draft to read I'm like 2/3 of the way through reading the draft I finished last month. So I really want to get back to that. Yes, yay, progress. Yeah, I'm impressed with how much I got done. I will share my not a drabble in the server here in a sec. For anyone who is interested in joining the drabble servers, shoot me a DM on Discord or on Instagram. My handle is the same as here. And thank you for hanging out with me. It was really fun. And yeah, I got a lot of work done. I hope you guys got some work done too. And I will see you later. My next stream will be not quite at the same time because it's 2 hours later. I would be still streaming right now. So I will see you guys next week, and hopefully I will have my streaming schedule for June sorted out soon. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.